6 men, 1 ridge, and no way out. That is what Petty Officer Daniel Reyes believed. As he pressed his back against a crumbling stone wall, blood soaking through his sleeve, his team's ammunition counted in single digits. The radio in his hand crackled with static instead of rescue. Somewhere below them, at least 30 armed fighters were closing in. They were coming from 3 directions. He looked at his team leader, a grizzled chief named Marcus Webb. Then he said the words no operator ever wants to say out loud. We are done for. But 2 ridgelines away, a woman the Navy had never officially deployed to, that valley was already moving. Her name was Staff Sergeant Mia Torres, a Marine Scout sniper attached to a joint Overwatch detachment nobody talked about in briefings. She was 31 years old, quiet in a way people mistook for shyness. She carried her late father's dog tags looped through her bootlaces. She had worn them since the day she buried him. He had been a Marine too. He used to tell her that the loudest person in the room is rarely the most dangerous one. Mia had spent her whole career proving he was right. She had watched the SEAL team's position for 6 hours, from 1,100 meters out. She logged movement, wind speed, and the slow tightening noose of enemy fighters. Command wanted her to hold, observe, and report, but through her scope, she watched Reyes drag a wounded teammate behind cover. She watched Webb count his remaining magazines. His hands had stopped shaking only because there was no time left to shake. She made a decision, one that would never appear in any official record. She keyed her radio once, Overwatch is engaging, then she went to work. The first shot took down a fighter. He was setting up a machine gun position on the eastern slope. It was a shot so precise that for several seconds nobody below understood what had happened. The second shot dropped a man climbing toward the SEAL's flank. Reyes heard the reports echo off the canyon walls. He felt something shift in his chest, a feeling he could only describe later as the world deciding to give them one more chance. Chief Webb grabbed the radio. Unknown shooter, identify yourself. Mia's voice came back, low and steady. Overwatch, keep your heads down and trust the rifle. For the next 11 minutes, she became the reason 6 men lived. She moved between 3 firing positions along the ridge, never staying in one spot long enough to be found. She read the terrain the way her father had taught her, during hunting trips through the Blue Ridge Mountains. Back when she was a girl who just wanted him to be proud of her, every shot she took was a promise she had made to herself years ago. That she would never let another team go through what her father's unit went through, when nobody came for them. Reyes and Webb used the cover she bought them. They pulled their wounded teammate back through a narrow wash, toward a landing zone. Twice more, the enemy tried to press forward. Twice more, a single shot from somewhere in the rocks above stopped them cold. The fighters below started shouting to each other in confusion. They were unable to locate a shooter who seemed to be everywhere and nowhere at once. When the extraction helicopter finally roared over the ridge, Reyes turned back toward the direction the shots had come from. He saw nothing but stone and shadow. It was as if the valley itself had reached down and protected them. They found her 2 days later, at a forward operating base. She was sitting alone, cleaning her rifle with the same quiet focus she brought to everything. Reyes walked straight up to her. He did not salute. He simply extended his hand. You're the one, he said. It wasn't a question. Mia looked up. The dog tags caught the light at her boot. Then she said, only your chief made the call. I just answered it. Webb told her later that in 15 years of service, he had never seen anyone shoot like that. Mia told him the truth her father once told her. The best protectors are the ones nobody sees coming. She never wanted recognition. She had simply refused to let good men die within her reach. Word of what happened that day traveled quietly through the community that matters most, the operators themselves. Mia Torres never received a parade or a headline. What she received instead was something rarer, a team of hardened SEALs. They would tell anyone who asked that they were alive because a woman the manuals never accounted for decided that watching was not enough. That is the quiet truth about real heroism. It rarely announces itself. It rarely asks to be seen. Sometimes it simply shows up in the shadows, does what needs to be done, and disappears before anyone can say thank you. If this story moved you, if it reminded you that the quietest people often carry the greatest strength, give this video a like, drop a comment telling us which moment hit you hardest, and subscribe to Soul Relief Stories for more true-to-life tales of courage that never made the headlines.